In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to get what you want out of life through determination and patience. Welcome back, everybody, to the Justin and No podcast, where we make knowledge your strongest weapon.
Welcome back to the show, folks. As always, it's a pleasure to have you guys here. We got some interesting things to talk about, so we're going to get right into it.
Yeah, so in life, we all have a purpose, right? We all have a purpose to do something in our life. There's always going to be something that you really want to do, or you really want to get to a place where you can get what you want. So today we're going to talk about how being determined in what you want and being patient within the determinedness or the determined will be able to get you to where you want to be in life. So, I mean, honestly, I think determination is the topic that we need to talk about right now. So, when it comes with determination, right, you got to know what you want. You can't be determined to do something if you don't even know what you want in the first place, right? So, you got to know what you want. And it's just that simple.
To piggyback off that, I mean, honestly, we're all determined. It's just some people seem to determined to get nothing, and what I mean by that is the little vices, distractions, the little nonsense that people got going on in their life. And when I say nonsense, I mean, the things that don't really yield no positive results, don't really bring no meaning, no fulfillment, no purpose to your life. All those things. Some people go really hard while they're doing those things, clubbing, spending time around people that don't have no, long-term big aspirations, things like that. So we're all determined and just we got to focus in and control and, actual zero in on its determination for our own benefit. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of something that helped me become more determined was actually convincing myself of, okay, this is really what I want. I try a couple different things. We all have our little experimenting phase. You go through your little experimenting phase and actually circle what you want in your head or on paper, preferably, actually jot it down. That always helps. Side note, jotting things down will bring a lot of value to your life. Anyway, you want to be determined for the things that actually bring you fulfillment, excitement, not just, leisurely things.
Yeah. I mean, in life, you got to put yourself in a place where you want to be. And you always just like how Nas said, you got to jot down those things, list out the things that you want to do and list out how you're going to achieve them. Because you can be determined all you want, but the determination is going to fade when you have no clue on how to get there. So you have to be determined in taking the necessary steps to get to your end goal. And without determination in structuring yourself to achieve that goal, you're never going to get there.
Yeah, I want to throw a little, point I want to add to that about structuring yourself when it comes to determination, because sometimes we don't realize there's certain things that we're doing in our daily lives that are actually, weakening our levels of determination. What I mean by that specifically, I'll give a few specific examples. Men and women, this applies to both. Chasing momentary highs, highs that are very temporary with opposite gender, whether it's, sexual activity or just, like mingling with the opposite gender, being the clubbing scene, just spending time around, there's some people who love to be around girls as men and everybody likes that. I'm straight as hell, I'm telling you. But guys, take a second to realize the level, the magnitude of the damage that you're doing to your levels of determination when you are actively engaging in such activities like day to day, week to week, chasing that high from women as a man and also women chasing that attention, that desire from men. Those things have a real big impact on your levels of determination, and you need to be mindful of that and actually ask yourself, like, yo, why am I doing this? And if your answer is just, oh, I'm just doing it for the fun and to satisfy my sexual desires, then sorry to tell you, you're gonna have to cut that out, or you could just continue on with your low levels of determination and your, your bad work ethic and all that.
Yeah, I mean, what you said about the, not chasing the different highs in life. So, chasing the high is a distraction. And in life, temptation is probably one of our most biggest distractions, right? And that's just why we chase a certain highs and we need to understand that temptation is a thing and a lot of us have a certain tolerance to temptations, right? Whether that be, opposite gender or approval or like-minded of what it may be or different foods, different activities. When you're being determined to your goal, it's going to be a lot of things that's going to tempt you to not chase what you want, but you have to be tolerant. And I'm not saying that don't ever go towards your temptations. Limit them. Don't let it stop you from what you really want to do. So us here, we try to tell ourselves every single time, like, just put that mental block in your head. Like, if you know that you're doing something and you know that you're supposed to be doing it and you know that you might put yourself at a back burner or at a disadvantage going forward because you're following your temptation, you got to mentally understand, like, okay, I can't do this today. It's not beneficial for me for the next day tomorrow. It's gonna hold me back. So you need to put that mental blocker in your head and tell yourself, like, I need to stop what I'm doing, stop with the thoughts, and focus on what's really important. Because those little temptations are going to be regrets at the end of your journey. And be like, damn, I wish I never fell into so many temptations because I would have been able to achieve what I really wanted in life. Because temptation, it's not really what you want. It's just what you want in the moment.
Yeah, to use, I guess, a very relevant, real life example. It's like, we've seen this situation before where two people working at the same job, making precisely the same, hourly rate or the same salary, whatever it is, job that they're at, live completely different lifestyles in terms of what they can and can't afford.
Yeah.
And whenever I realize those things, it clicks in my head like the levels of determination must be different because this person is focused on what they really want while this person is just kind of lying to themselves or letting the temptations get to them and set them back. So, a person working a regular $15 an hour job, it might take them 6 months to get a car. And there's people who are at that job, that same job, that won't be able to afford a car within 3 years of working that same job. And yeah, there might be a little difference in responsibility and what they got going on outside of work financially. What's their financial load or load of responsibility financially, what they got going on, kids, whatnot, family, parents, whatever. Cool. But there's people who got all those problems going on and they still find a way to get that car. They still find a way to build that side business. They still find a way to buy their first house. You know what I'm saying? So all that comes down to is really the levels of determination that each person possesses. And I want to use, I guess, things that work for me to maybe hopefully encourage another person to find the most efficient way to raise their levels of determination. And one thing that really worked for me is staying away from all those um, unnecessary activities. They don't really bring they don't really bring any value to your life, any extra incentive to your life. When you go to the club, you go home the next day, boom, that high is over. You chill with a certain group of people that you might think everything is all fine and dandy. You go home, it's like there's no lasting benefit from that. And all you did really was probably spend a day worth of work, money wise, into hanging out with them. So now you're set. For each time you spend a certain amount of time or money doing things that you're not really after that's not really significant to your life, now you're setting yourself back a day. So you work 5 days, you spent the weekend spending a lot of money. Now that 5 days worth of work, boom, gone. So, you want to be able to control yourself, to control your levels of determination and really focus in on what you want.
Yeah, I mean, to be determined, to that's the thing you have to always ask yourself, like because it's you get to where you want to be by how determined you are. And determination doesn't have to be going out there and going to get something all the time, just going out there and trying to get something, trying to put your best foot forward every single time. It's about preparation. It's about planning. Being determined could be in every facet of life. Being determined to keep yourself in shape. Being determined to hold yourself and professionally, right? To speak professional and to carry yourself as a professional. To be determined to learn on bettering yourself and bettering what you know so that you're able to achieve your goal. Because if you're determined in every facet of your life, you're gonna be able to better go towards the goals that you want. And is how bad do you want something? You gotta ask yourself, how bad do I want this end goal? Are you willing to do what it takes to get you there? You gotta ask yourself that. That's the only way that you truly build your determination. Because once you start wanting it more and more and more every single day, you're willing to put in that extra 30 minutes. You're willing to put in that extra hour. You're willing to be more consistent every single month. Then you start doing years of it. And then now you're closer and closer to where you want to be, depending on your goal.
Yeah, piggybacking off what you said in terms of preparation, we could use school for example, especially college students, because that's when things really start getting serious. Everything, personal opinion, everything before that is a cakewalk. Anyway, what does it come down to when you're going to perform on a day of a test, a day of an exam, a midterm, a finals? It really comes down to how determined you were in the process before getting to that exam the day of, before getting to that exam room, that testing site the day of. When you get there, if you were prepared and determined along the way leading up to that day is the easiest out of the last 3 weeks of studying that you did.
That's true.
Performing that day comes naturally when you put in the work, the preparation beforehand. Who are the people that really struggle on the day of the exams? It's the person who didn't spend a lot of time studying or studied inefficiently. For example, maybe coming off of a night of being at a party and then they trying to pull an all-nighter and study right after, being intoxicated or whatever, distracted, not in the right mindset. So the process and being prepared, well prepared, and properly prepared and being determined along that journey is really the hard part. Getting there the day of, showing up or getting that result that you wanted, that all comes from everything before that day or before, yeah, let's say buying a house. The process of buying a house is pretty complicated, but when you're doing all the steps necessary, yeah, there might be a little bit of hiccups, in terms of litigation and, legal procedures, but that's going to happen regardless. And how do you make that easier on yourself is by, having the right credit score, having the right funds, looking into whether the property is worth it or not, all those things, the preparation before the day of, okay, I'm initiating the sale or the purchase. That's the hard part. That's the part you have to, master and lock in on.
Yeah, I mean, especially with being determined too, and it's for most people. I know that everybody here had a job before or is currently working at a job, right? Depending on how determined you want that job is goes into the preparation and planning to how to be there in the interview, right? So picture yourself, right? You being determined, you go and apply. That's part of it, right? You going in and applying to your job, then you get called for an interview, hopefully get called for an interview. Then you take the preparation and time because you're determined you really want that job. That I'm gonna make sure that I have my outfit planned for the next day. Make sure that it's not wrinkled or it's very presentable. Make sure that you get enough sleep that night before. Don't go out because I have a big, day ahead of me because I'm definitely going to get the job. And that's one thing I would say about determination. Don't limit yourself to what you think you can't do. Always think that you can do something and then just openly just go for it and you'll get somewhere near where you want to be. If you always tell yourself like, I'm determined to get something, but you picture in yourself that you can't do it, you're gonna sabotage yourself actually subconsciously sabotage yourself. But besides the point, you go, you prepare the night before, you study about the company. That's another thing about determination. You study about the company that you're gonna be working for, right? You see other interviews, and it's how much you're willing to work to get towards where you want to be. And then you go to the interview, you prepare yourself, you talk to the interviewer or whatever, and then you get the job. But that wouldn't have happened if you weren't determined to plan out everything, the steps before you being able to sit there and be able to get the job offer. So in life, you have to be determined in every single facet in order to be the best version of yourself, to be the most determined version of yourself, so that you're able to achieve your end goal.
Yeah, I wanted to throw it in there, but I didn't want to cut you off. It's everybody's favorite saying, fake it till you make it. So sabotage yourself, but for the right reasons, for the right purpose, in the right direction. Sabotage yourself into thinking you could do something, even if with the tools you have or the preparation you have right now, you probably can't. But if you start telling yourself that you could do it, most people naturally, they're going to want to live up to that thought that they put on themselves. That label, that classification, like, oh, I told myself I could do it. So now I got to do it. I got to take the necessary steps. I got to put in the necessary work to be able to do what I said I could do. So it's, working out, telling yourself, like, you don't just go in the gym and, oh, I'm going to bang out this amount of weight. But you're going to tell yourself, yo, I could put up 300. I could put up 200. And when you're consistent and determined throughout the process, there's going to come a day where you're going to put up that weight. So, fake it till you make it. We all love to fake it, so you might as well do it for the right reasons. You know what I'm saying? And also, I do want to talk about being able to use that determination, but in a controlled way where you're not just expecting shit to come immediately. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to have that patience of, this is a long journey, whatever it is, even if it's something very small, short term. You want to be able to respect the journey, even if you don't enjoy it per se, even though hopefully you do. But sometimes the whole process isn't really enjoyable. But that's where the determination comes in to keep going. And even when you are sore, even when you are tired, even when you feel like you're not making enough progress or you should be making more progress, there's no such thing as you should in this world. The only thing you should do when you're born is breathe, and then at the end, you're supposed to die. That's, I'm sorry to be so harsh saying that, but that's the only two shoulds in life. You should breathe when you're first born, and then there comes a moment, a time in life where you stop breathing, so you should die. That's the only shoulds, only guarantees really that's going to be given to you. Those are the things that's given to you. Breathing and then dying. And you want to use that determination and also meet it with some patience so that you don't want to discourage yourself like, oh yeah, I did this and the result I was looking for didn't come. Sometimes it's going to take a little bit longer, but let me tell you one thing. If it takes a little bit longer and you eventually get it, boy, is it sweeter.
Great things come to those who can wait. What you want out of life will eventually come to you if you are patient. Patience is a virtue, people. Please take patience into consideration in everything that you do. Everything in life takes time. And another thing about patience will be delayed gratification. Just like how you said, it may take you some time, but oh boy, would it feel good when you get there. Delaying yourself from instant gratification makes everything so much better, right? If you are put like this, say if you play basketball, right? Say I put in hours and hours and time and years in just focusing on my body and my dribbling skills and my shot ability or whatever, right? You're gonna be slowly getting better every single time that you practice, right? Now say you get to that point, I can drop 30 points a game. I can shoot from half court without even thinking of it. Imagine being good straight out the gate and you reach your ceiling. And that's it for you.
Scary. Some people might think that's good as scary.
It's scary because guess what? Once you're at that level of being good, it becomes boring to you. There's no challenge. Now, when you're patient and you want to go for certain things, take the small wins, people. Take the small wins. That's the only way that you stay determined for your goals is if you take the small wins. Because it's kind of hard to sit there and keep on chasing after a goal if you're not achieving it. So say if you want to be a millionaire, right? You chasing being a millionaire. Some people never even touch to be a six digits.
Yeah.
Some people don't even get $100,000 in their lifetime, as in per year, whatever, right? Because you classify yourself as a millionaire by making $1 million or keeping $1 million within the calendar time, right? Take the small wins, people. If your salary increases by 2% every year, that is being closer to your goal. If you get 10,000 more into your bank account 2 years from now, that's $10,000 more than what you had before. But if you constantly work towards something, take the small wins because eventually you will get there. You can see some progress. So by taking those small wins, you see some type of progress that you're actually trending in the right place because it's kind of hard to sit there and work towards a goal and either you're declining or you're staying standstill. Yeah. At some point in time, you're going to give up.
Yeah, so to piggyback off that thought, I wish I could make the accurate reference. I don't remember exactly where I got this from or where I seen it. It could have been just like I don't know, like a YouTube short or something, but somebody was explaining how that $1 million thought, trying to get to $1 million, it's way harder to get to that $1 million when all you want is that $1 million and you're not looking for nothing else. But it's so much easier and relaxing on your mind, and there's way less tension on the road when, let's say, you were making 50,000 at one point in the year, and now you're making 70,000. You give yourself, you're patient in that process, and you give yourself, the due credit of, oh, I did make a leap, I did make a small improvement, I did take some steps in the right direction. Yeah, you didn't get that million yet, but you're also not making 50K no more. And then when that 70 turns into 100, yeah, you didn't get that million yet, but you did take you did increase from 70 to 100,000. So being patient is what's really going to keep you grounded. It's really going to keep you motivated because part of that, of being patient, of mastering that virtue of patience is being able to realize how your situation has been improving, even if it was in the slightest fashion. So you don't want to, nothing that's rushed is good. Like, for example, like, bro, we're patient for the smallest of things in life. Like, yo, I've been the kid that watched his fucking PS4 update for a whole hour, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. I watched my PS. Why? I was determined to play me some 2K.
That's facts.
You know what I'm saying? And when I say watch, I don't necessarily mean sat there staring at the screen, but I found something to do and continuously look back up. Yo, did it finish yet? Did it finish yet? You know what I'm saying? So we're patient, really, when we feel like, the outcome is something that's going to satisfy us. So why not really like master that and lock in on that and control that patience for the things, and for the bigger scale things. And again, this might actually not be for everybody. because there's a lot of people who are really comfortable living a simple life, and not in a bad way. To each their own, you know what I'm saying?
Whatever makes you happy.
Whatever makes you happy. But this is directed for the people who really have aspirations, financial, bigger aspirations, long-term aspirations, to make a name for themselves in the financial sense. And yeah, not everything comes down to finances, but when the finances are abundant, I'm telling you, it's probably easier to get more out of your life in other areas. Like even that person who's living comfortable, if they had 3 times the finances they currently have, they'd probably be a little bit more comfortable. It's just some people don't want to put the work in. They don't want to. They're not that patient. They're to each their own. But yeah, you want to use patience to guide you along the way, to make sure you're never really discouraged. Because if you're not patient, it's easy to get discouraged. Like you said, just quit halfway through. But if you're giving yourself that due credit and you're reminding yourself, like, listen, yeah, I might not be where I want to go, but I'm not where I was. When you're that type of patient, or listen, I might have had a 2-year time frame on it, but it's taken longer. When you're okay with those things and you're willing to go through those hiccups and those hard moments, those down days, and you're patient with yourself, there's a lot of good coming your way.
Yeah. And for people saying that, how could I be more patient? Uh, Stay tuned. We're gonna have another video about that. But being patient, right? To build patience, this is a small thing that I would leave you guys with. Instead of falling in love with the destination, fall in love with the journey getting there. Because I mean, I know we've all been in school before, and especially when we've been on a field trip, right? I know I used to love the bus rides there. I used to love the bus rides, right?
Yep.
Because you used to go through different, cities and states, and you get to talk to your friends and, play video games on the bus or whatever have you. Had the best time there. And then once you get to the destination, you have your fun, usually for like a couple of hours, and then you just go straight home. Sometimes you wish the bus ride was a little bit longer.
Facts.
So I'm telling you guys to fall in love with the journey, because it will teach you a lot more things that is more worthwhile than the destination itself. Because once you reach your destination, you better be putting on another one for you to go towards. Or you're going to come to a point in time where your life is going to mean not too much for you.
Get
Not-
bored.
You get bored, and you're not going to want to wake up every day and go be able to do something. Because I've seen it in a lot of people that they want to reach their goals so bad that they forget the time in between. The times where, the fun times, the bad times, the struggles, the ups and downs into achieving their goal. And then once they finally reach it, it's like, damn, I don't have anything else to do in my life.
Now what?
Now what do I do? So I'm telling everybody here today to be determined on what you want. Don't let anything stop you. Be very patient in what you do. Everything doesn't have to be a rush, but you do have to go for it. That's the thing. Don't sit back and squander your opportunities, but don't rush into things either. And then fall in love with the journey, because you only got one life to live, and you only get one journey. So just make it worth it, and appreciate it for every up and down that it brings.
Yeah, for those people who don't want to take your word for it, find somebody around you who's reached a goal that they've dreamt of, whether it's being a doctor, being a homeowner, and then ask them their level of satisfaction from when they were on the way there to now. And I don't want to say I guarantee you, but I'm like 99% sure most people are going to tell you that getting there was a lot more, like, on the way there was a lot more satisfying, and brought them a lot more pleasure and happiness and comfort than actually getting there. Because once you get there, it's like, okay, now I'm done.
What do I do?
What do I do? Where do I go from here? Now you need like you said, now you need a new destination. You don't just stop. Okay, I got here. I got to the finish line. You don't run a track race. You get to the finish line. You got first place, and now you're looking forward. A high level athlete, he's looking forward to the next race already. You know what I'm
Of
saying?
course.
Like, yeah, you're gonna enjoy you're gonna enjoy your win at the moment. Okay, I got that out of the way. Now I'm looking to how I'm gonna win my next race and how I'm gonna get first place again. And the steps I'm gonna take to do that and execute that plan. And so on and so forth. So getting there is actually not the most important part. It's the way there. Like you said, the field trip analogy. I love that one because on the way to the field trip, the the ride to the field trip is way different than the ride to first period in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like you get on that ride first period in the morning, boy, you just want to sleep. You don't want nobody bothering you. You going on the field trip now, all of a sudden, because you know where you're gonna end up after the bus stops moving in the morning, where it's gonna drop you off. It's gonna be a place of excitement too. So you're enjoying the way there. I don't got nothing to stress about when I get there. It's not something that's so daunting for me. The destination isn't daunting. When you're going to first period and you hate fucking school and you suck, or not suck, let me not excuse me for that, but you're not a great student, or a school environment doesn't necessarily suit you, you're dreading every minute of that ride. You're getting closer and closer to a place you don't want to be. But when you're getting closer and closer to the destination on that field trip, yeah, there's a lot of excitement and a lot of joy building up in you. So take that small little analogy and apply it to life, and also make sure that the place you're gonna end up at, hopefully, is a place that you really want to be. Because at the end of the day, if you don't want to be there, that whole process from start to finish is gonna be dreadful.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, guys, to end off this podcast, please be patient, in everything that you do, and go for whatever you want in your life. Anything can be achieved through time and effort. Okay? This has been the Just in a No podcast, where we make knowledge your strongest weapon.
And if school always sucked for you, like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes. Peace.
Peace.